if else
जी 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 बेटा बोले
if else term is
acha if else perfect but what is this that if else called? There's a term for that. Can you recall that term? जी
As Boolean operators.
देखो मैं आपको दोबारा याद दिला रही हूँ. There are basically three logics which are sequence, selection and repetitive. ये ध्यान रखिएगा. There are basically three logics. The first one is sequence logic, the second one is repetitive logic, the second one is selection logic, and the third one is repetitive logic. Like you have written pseudocode, yes or no? And then this is what you said, that we are well versed with pseudocode writing. Do you remember when we started our class, very first class, you talked about जिसमें आप लोग थोड़ा सा मतलब हमारा 2 सेशन नहीं हो सके थे. You people मतलब were informed a little late, and then we talked about. By the way, children, one thing that I want to tell you once again, you have any query regarding the earlier material, because this is what you have been studying with different teachers. This is what I know. So if there is any query, then you can ask me कि logics क्या होती है, how to write down your pseudocode. So either we write down the stages one by one, which we call sequence logic, or we have a decision making process which we call selection logic, or we have a repetitive logic, that means repetition. This is something that you need to be aware of. Ye teen terminologies are supposed to be remembered and understood by us. Can I rely on you कि अब आप लोग याद रखेंगे? Yes or no? जी बताइएगा मुझे please. I said 3 logics are there. जी बेटा बोलिए.
वो repetitive में if else आएगी क्या?
नहीं, repetitive में आपके पास for to next, while do and while और repeat until आएगा, जो हमने एक दिन क्लास में किया था. अगर आपको याद हो, हमने एक दिन loop structures किए थे. Were you there when we did loop structures? Yes, children, were you there? मतलब मैं आपको बता रही हूँ हम लोग क्या क्या कर चुकी हैं. When I started my lectures with you people, I actually did whatever you have done, and then I moved on to types of test data, which was new to you. Then I talked about types of ये जो आपकी बात हुई थी, types of loop structures, जिनमें 3 नाम थे. These were for to next, while do and while, and repeat until. Can you recall these terminologies? Yes, can you people recall these terminologies? याद आ रहे हैं आपको? अच्छा, अब आते हैं हम. जी, are you all? I hope that you are able to recall. You are able to understand, children. Yes or no? Any ambiguity in understanding these terminologies? Because pseudocode is very interesting. अगर आपको समझ आ रहे तो बहुत ही जबरदस्त बात है. And then someone asked me कि मिस हमें okay now, अस्सलाम वालेकुम आकिफ, you have joined just now I guess. Now this is what we need to work on. जी अभी तक की बात में कोई मसला है तो बताइएगा. रबिशाली सदरी वयसली अमरी वालुलुदतम मिलिसानी इफ़क़ौली रब्बिज़िदनी इल्मा. This is what repetitive logic questions are now going to be, and this is something that I guess I shared with you last week as well, and then I shared with you a few assignments. Were you there in the class that day? Did you all understand this question? Yes, children, please say yes or no. This is very simple, very interesting. If you can recall, it is very simple what we did here. हमने यहाँ पर एक जो काम किया था वो ये किया था कि we were asked to find out and display a message of ages of 100 people. Here you can see whenever the task is dealing with more than one, then we always say it's a question that deals with repetitive logic. Am I clear? A task that deals with more than once, that is called repetitive logic. किसी भी काम का बार बार होना, that is called repetitive. ठीक है?
So can you please repeat the 3? One was for, the other one repeat until, and what was the third one?
The first one was for to next, as you can see here, for to next. The one that is in green, and the keyword that are mentioned in capital, basically we call them with those keywords. अगर आपसे कोई नाम पूछता है ना, तो आप बोलोगे for to next. This is what the syntax is. So syntax is different, and your this thing is different. Is that clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
समझ आ गई?
Yes, ma'am.
Second one is while, do and while. While, WHILE, while. Then we have do, do, and then we have end while. And then the last one is repeat until. Is that clear? We have repeat until.
Yes, yes.
अच्छा, this what we have learned earlier. मतलब उसमें हमने classes में किया था और the same day someone asked me कि के questions करवाई so report, and I told them at that time that I introduced those in the beginnings that you can understand them, and then you will be in a position to go for even the debugging thing. The debugging, I hope that you may have heard this term, but we'll talk about it later. Now, this is what is a question that deals with input of 100 people's ages. And based on this, you're going to decide a message that is going to be a child, a teenager, or an adult. And this is based on, you can see the thing that is in blue. Can you tell me which logic is used that is mentioned in blue? The three logics: sequence, selection, repetitive. So which logic is shown in blue? Ji beta.
Sequence.
Umar, the one that is, I'm talking about this thing, the one in blue, where my cursor right now is, where my pointer right now is, this one, starting from here and going on till ENDIF, starting from if and ending on ENDIF. Like this structure, which logic is used here? Ji beta. I know, please. I want the responses. Yes, children, may I have the response from your end? Okay, Khalid says repetitive. The one that is in blue. I'm talking about that logic that is in blue.
Which sequence? Wali?
That is selection. Okay, that is selection based on decision making. Are you getting it? Bitaji, this is what you said earlier. This is what you people said in the beginning. KG, if is basically selection, where you make a decision. What you said as case and what you said is if. So the same thing is here, and we call this as selection logic. Is that making sense? Yes or no? Yes. Ji children. Come on, you say yes or no. So what have we done here? Class 11th, believe in me, I'm going to mark you as absent if you're not speaking, if you're not replying. Entering here and then sitting silently is not going to serve the purpose. This is one of the best classes. This is what I came to know. Like when I was told that you are going to take 11th, I was told that this is one of the best classes, and this is what I see in the morning. The way you people respond. So I want a proper attitude from your end. The ones who are here, like Akif, Atta normally responds. Naveer was also here. Nuhail, mashallah, you are a responsible and responsive child. What is wrong with you today? Rahim, Rafi, Khalid, Mohid, and Tashfeen, again, a very responsible and responsive child. So what's wrong with you all today? Yes, Faiz. Are you from 11th, Faiz? Can you please unmute yourself, Faiz?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, children, why don't you speak? I mean, any query that you have, you can ask. Any problem that you have, you can ask. No worries regarding that. But please do let me think that I'm standing in a very good class. G. Please do let me know that are you aware of the terms selection? Till this point, output, input, that is your sequence where you are going stage by stage. But the moment you encounter a decision-making process, that is treated as selection logic. This is just a repetition of what you had covered earlier. I mean, this is what you said. So I want the same to be just repeated. And that is why I have taken a question that is incorporating all the logics. So Akif, will you please mute yourself right now? You don't have to say anything. Akif, may you please mute yourself? Okay. Now moving further,
Yes, miss.
Akif, if you don't have to say anything better, to may you please mute yourself?
Okay, miss.
Thank you. Now moving, any query regarding this, what we have done here. Okay, now, if I ask you this thing that is in red, what is it doing? Can anyone help me out with this? Age greater than or equal to 13 and age less than or equal to 19. So what will be your reply? What is happening here? Yes.
Graduation. कौन सा box समझ में याद नहीं आ रहा मुझे अभी.
When there was a lot of noise coming from your end, so I can't hear you properly. So either write down in the chat window or speak once again, please. G. G. What is happening here? We are making a decision, and we are talking about the between situation, which we can see here. I guess this else if also you are comfortable with. By the way, when do we use if else and when do we use if else if? Another question. जी बिल्कुल exactly आता decision box जैसा ही है. The same thing as you have studied in flow charts as a decision box. So the same thing is handled here with the help of if. What you write in pseudocode as if is actually something that you deal as here pseudocode is if, the same as decision box. Thank you very much, Ada, for this point. Ji beta, again my question is still unanswered. Age is greater than it was G. If else or if else if में क्या फर्क है? When do we go for if else and when do we go for if else if? It's a real life situation.
We go for if else when we have two data, and we go for if else if when we have more than two types of data.
Okay, thank you very much, Usman. Thanks a lot. But let me just make it a little better. If I have two options, then I go for if else. But when I have two or more options, then I go for if else if. And why am I concentrating on these terminologies is because of the reason that I hope that you know we have two papers, and paper 2, which is what we are studying right now, you get some questions that are dealing with theoretical concepts, and they do question us, and if you have not written this properly, then you may start losing your marks. And it's actually very easy to score in P2. Believe me, it's very easy to score. If you have understood well, then it is very easy. By the way, thank you very much, Usman. Can anyone else contribute with an example of when to use if else and when to use if else if? Like this is a 4-mark question that came once in one of the past papers, and they had asked us about the difference between if else if and if else, and then we were supposed to give an example as well. So when will you recommend me to go for if else? Yes. Children, may I know, please? When will you go for if else? When I have two options. In which situations do I have two options? For example, remarks, pass or fail. There's no third option as such. Either I'm pass or I'm fail. And that is what we call as handled through if else. So if you just write down, if it's a 2-mark question for defining, and please, I hope that you are noting this down in your journals, because I'll be expecting to see these answers in the journals then. The difference between if else and if else if. Then you need to know, okay, if else is used when I have two options, and if else if is used when I have more than two options, or what you can say as case. So we handle the situations where we have two or more options through case or if else if. And by the way, can you tell me any example to handle if else if? Children, 11th, you are such an interactive class. And I remember the very first class that I had with you people where you people kept on speaking. So may I expect an answer to come from your end?
When we have, so we will use if else if, like if we have to make a grading system where we do A, B, C, we give the grade to the student.
Excellent, excellent, Usman. I'm really impressed by your very good answer. And definitely when I have an option of, when I need to work on grading is something that deals with more than one option. And the best choice will be either you use if-else-if, the way that is shown to you right now, or you're going to use case. And I hope that you are comfortable with these two structures which are dealing with selection logic. Yes or no? Okay. Now, moving further.
Yes, ma'am.
I,
Yes.
जी
मतलब अगर ग्रेडिंग में सिर्फ अगर हम लोग को लिखना है, अगर ग्रेजुएटेड या लाइक नॉट ग्रेजुएटेड, तो हम लोग क्या यूज करेंगे उसमें ये कहते हैं एल्स इफ। और अगर हम लोग को दूसरा वाला मतलब ए बी सी डी करना है, वो अच्छा बहुत सारे ऑप्शन आते हैं, फिर हम लोग यूज करेंगे ना।
Noel, I highly appreciate if you speak in English. I mean, your English is very good, mashallah, I know. I'll take your question the same way. Thank you very much. And then you can see yourself. You said that grading means that I have only, like I have grades A star, A, B, C, D, E. Then definitely, since I have more than two options, then what is going to be your suggestion? What will you say? What will you say? Give me some kya use kare? What will be the best option to be used? It will be
option would be if else if.
Exactly. You're either going to use if else if, or you're going to use case, the one that you have already learned very well. But if I take your question and I mold it to graduate or non-graduate, so what will be your reply, children? Now I'm
sequence logic का पहला तरीका है else if वाले तरीके से.
Beta, sequence logic is simple. The stages are one by one. You have IPO, you have input, process, output, and all the stages are handled one by one. That is your sequence logic. When I talk about a question can deal with all the three logics as well. So this, if you remember the class that we had about loop structures, it was a simple, just the loop structures were taught to you. And now I have taken a little ahead. I've taken a step ahead by introducing a complete pseudocode that deals with all the three logics, that it sums up whatever you have already learned. Yes, sequence logic is very simple. Like I can say an example that you had done, maybe I take input of papers 1 and 2.
क्या कहते हैं लूप स्ट्रक्चर्स के आंसर्स तो हमने दे दिए थे सही, लेकिन बस आप उसकी भी पीपीटी भेज दिएगा, उसके लिए थोड़ा डेप्थ में जाकर पढ़ना था.
Okay, now children, that's definitely I will be doing, but I hope that the CS group that I requested you people to make, which you have already made and I've joined as well, is only composed of CS children, and I'll be uploading all the PPTs there so that you can refer to them just immediately. Fine. So I'll be doing that definitely, but right now I want you people to understand the main concept is not PPTs only, understanding. And I hope that I'll be getting the proper response from your end. Now moving further, my question still is the same. Okay, children, one more thing is we'll be joining back after 5 minutes with the same ID that is available on the group. And now you all know that you have to log in from there, because the session will, the Zoom session will end, but our class will be ending at 1:50. So still we have time. Now moving to this question, I'm throwing another question. If, for example, I have two options, graduate or non-graduate, so what will you suggest?
We will use if else. If else.
Okay, thank you very much, Usman. Is Usman correct? Yes, how many of you think that Usman is correct? Please raise your hand if you think Usman is correct. Quick response, please. Otherwise, I'll mark you absent. If your hand is not raised, if it's a thumbs up or not a thumbs down, I'll mark you absent. Yes. A thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Usman statement repeat करना.
Okay.
I said that if we got two options, that is graduate and not graduate, then we will use if else.
Yes, my question.
Based on merit, based on the GPA given.
No. My question is very simple. I've just a 1 mark question for you people, and the question is, I have two options. I have option graduate or non-graduate. That's all. So what will you suggest if I'm asked to handle this thing in pseudocode? What will you suggest? What will I use? And I mean, whatever I'm telling you, beta ji, such questions are framed in our P2. So may I get the question? May I get the response very quickly? The one of you had said that Usman had said that it's going to be the use through if else. So do you agree with Usman or do you disagree with Usman? Yes, Nohel.
I agree.
You agree. Thank you, Nohel. Okay, apart from Nohel, Safi, what about this one? This emoji, what should I assume with this emoji? Yes, Safi, what will be Only 2 people have
Agree.
responded.
Agree.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So what about the others? Are you all able to understand? Yes or no? This is something that I'm just revising with other examples. That's what I'm doing. Yes, Tashmi?
Yes, miss.
Okay, thank you very much. Vyas is saying this is correct. Actually, since it is dealing to, now this is an example that I actually took from Usman's question, and that is dealing with 2 options, and these 2 options are going to be handled through if else. Are you all comfortable about these 2 things now? Yes or no? Now, moving on to this question, back to this question, that is an example that handles all the 3 logics. Thank you, Tashmi, for the thumbs up now. Now you may have, now you can just remove it. Thank you very much. Now, are we ready for understanding this, and then we be ready for the assignment? Because if you are doing the assignment only, then I'll be thinking that you have learned, and then I'll be in a position to be happy. This is an example that deals with, I have to make a decision based on the input that is given by the user of age. And you can see the sequence that is being used here. We have a message for the user, and the input is taken into the variable. By the way, what is the type of this variable? Age. Quick response. Now I want the response from those students who haven't answered yet.
Miss, I have a question.
G.
Wouldn't we declare age as an integer first?
Actually, yes, I didn't declare, I've initialized. Yes, you will be declaring. You, I guess that you have learned the declare statement. I saw in one of the answers that Khalid shared. Yes, I'll be using integer. This is what you are already aware of. Integer, string, boolean, real, and char. These are the 5 data types that I discussed earlier. And I hope that you are aware of the difference between all these data types. Yes or no? Okay, so this is what you have already learned, and this should be in your memories forever. Now, moving further, what we did, we have taken input of age, and then we have made a decision based on input of age that whether the age is falling in the bracket of child or the bracket of teenager, or he is an adult. Now, is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Because then I'll be asking you another question. I'll be actually molding the same question with more options, and then I'll be expecting you people to quickly respond right now in your copies, and then once we are rejoining, I'll be asking you to share it on the chat window, and that is dealing with along with I'm not treating it as adult, I'm saying young adult, and young adult is in the age of 20 till 30, and then I'm saying that 30 till 40 is going to be 45 till is going to be a middle age, and then 45 above is an adult. So how will I handle this? I'm repeating. I'm going to handle 20 till 30 as you can say a young adult. Then after that, it's going to be a middle age, then an adult. So what will be the change in my structure? This what is the assignment. Please start doing it. And then we are going to join back, and then we'll talk about this question. Am I clear, children? Are you comfortable with this? Yes or no? We'll be joining back.
Yes, miss.